What we're talking about today is everyday carry. Now, before we get started, I do want to define what everyday carry means because it has become kind of a mainstream topic. So you do see people post pictures of their everyday carry and it'll be like their AirPods with their phone, their super slim wallet, and then the key fob to their fancy car. Now, what we're going to talk about today is specifically going to be addressed towards tactical everyday carry. So more or less the other equipment that people carry with them when they want to be equipped to be a prepared citizen. And more specifically, what we're going to talk about today is everyday carry when it comes to medical equipment. So there's a lot of ways you can carry medical equipment, and that's what we're going to go over today. But primarily what we're going to address is the equipment that you carry on your body, not so much the equipment you can carry in your bag or in your car. So let's get into it. Before we get started, I do want to disclose that I am not a medical professional. Now, I do have some medical experience, and I will share that with you guys just so you have a context of kind of what my experience is when it comes to talking about medical equipment. And my experience really relates to my time in the military. So I have just the normal medical training that anyone would get in special operations for pre-deployment stuff and then during our pipeline training. And I have about 5 or 6 different live tissue training courses. If you're unfamiliar with what that is, it's literally we have animals on the table that are being treated and they are alive. So we do get to practice on live tissue. And I have treated multiple casualties in real time in combat areas. So I am actually pretty invested in medical equipment, especially everyday carry, even though, like I said, I'm not a professional, but I do just have a great interest in this topic, so that's why I'm talking about it. The first question you should ask yourself when you're deciding what medical equipment you want to carry every day is, what type of injuries do I want to be able to treat, and how many of those injuries do I want to be able to treat? So generally in our industry, what people are carrying equipment-wise for the type of injuries they want to be able to treat is gunshot wounds and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what this is all going to address, because I do think, especially if you're carrying a gun, you should be able to treat an injury that could be caused by your firearm, whether it's on yourself by accident or someone else, obviously. Now, there are other injuries that you should definitely address, probably injuries that you're going to face more likely to face than gunshot wounds. For example, broken bones from car accidents, stuff like that. So when it comes to carrying other equipment aside from this stuff, that's the only thing I'm going to address in this video, is really consider what equipment you have in your vehicle. I would highly suggest carrying extra splints, bandages, stuff to heal lacerations or treat lacerations and stuff like that. I wouldn't so much carry additional chest shields and stuff like that in your car, because you're much more likely to experience, like I said, a car accident or something like that. So for me, with the medical equipment that I'm carrying on my body, I want to be able to address as many different types of injuries at least once. So that's going to be really the direction that I take when I approach an everyday carry medical pouch for what I carry. Now, that's maybe different for you guys, and that's totally fine, but that's just the way I'm approaching this. To simplify this even further, what I recommend doing is taking a full IFAK like our Med1 here. This can be worn as a dangler or a fanny pack, and this is obviously intended to be with full kit in that type of scenario, but to take the contents of this and carry as much of it on your body as possible. So that's kind of the direction, like I said, that I'm going to take with my everyday carry medical pouch. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through a couple different options that are on the market currently. So we have about 10 here. We'll probably talk about a couple more, and then we'll just kind of break them down, show the differences between the kits, show the similarities, and then I'm going to talk about my favorite one. So the first one I want to talk about are kits quite like this. So this is an older T.Rex ITRK, and all this is a couple of contents vacuum sealed in a bag. So this one has hemostatic gauze, trauma dressing, gloves, and then a pack of chest shields. So that's actually going to be a very common theme for the contents of the majority of these pouches. But the thing that I don't like about these is, yes, they're very small. They are very compact, but they're also very, very firm. So if you do put this in your back pocket or something like that, it's going to feel like you're sitting on a rock. And also over time, this type of packaging will not become vacuum sealed, and it's going to get loosey-goosey per se. And this is going to expand, and then it's just not going to be a good time. So this is really, in my opinion, vacuum sealed med kits like this are really designed or should be put into a bag of some kind and not carried on your body at all times. The next more unique item we have on the table here is the Warrior Poet Society Ankle IFAK. So this is obviously a little unique, and you're definitely going to have to dress around an item like this because this will be a little bit bulky in your leg. But like John says, no one really actually pays attention if you're printing. But this guy, you can almost fit an entire IFAK in, which is pretty cool. And if I was wearing something like this around my ankle, I would want to carry a full IFAK. I can't fit quite everything in there. That's just due to the kind of the weird sizing of the pouches. So I think if these pouches were sized specifically for specific contents, that'd be much better. But these pouches are designed so you can put various different things in them. You can put MP5 mags, a flashlight, a Gerber, whatever you kind of want, but it's an original design and intent is to be an IFAK. So we have just about everything in this guy. Moving on from there, we have a more simple design. This is Spartan Armor Systems. They do consider this an EDC IFAK, and this is one thing I don't like about it. I'll show you in a second once I get it open. And you're dead. All right, 7 years later. So what's going on in here is we have some scissors, and that's what this is getting caught on. And obviously this pouch is not sized appropriately for the contents. Other than that, we just have some normal gauze, a SWAT tourniquet, which I really don't recommend relying on. I do highly recommend carrying something like a cat tourniquet if you can. And honestly, this is not that much smaller than a cat tourniquet if you pack down a cat tourniquet. Other than that, you just have a blanket in here. So this is really intended to address trauma and nothing else. Moving on from there, we have the My-Medic IFAK. So this is definitely a bigger kit, and this does come with a lot more stuff. So this kind of kit is definitely, I think, designed to be in a backpack of some kind or mollied on. Now, I'm going to address this multiple times probably, but molly on an EDC pouch or really any medical pouch that doesn't have a tray, I think is really, really stupid. I don't mean to be harsh with that, but if you're going to molly this on somewheres, I have to be able to get the contents out. And unless it's mollied in a place where I can see it and get to those contents, I just think molly is unnecessary. So generally with these pouches, this is coming out of something and then I can work with the pouch like this. But if it's mollied somewheres, you get the idea. It's just kind of difficult to do. So you're going to get a rat's tourniquet in here, some chest seals. You're going to get something that you're going to see with some of these other pouches, and this is a kind of a compact quick clot, Sharpie, gloves, and you're even going to get a QR code to learn how to first aid in survival, which I think is kind of interesting. So this pouch is pretty cool. This is I think the most expensive pouch on the table, but like I said, this is going to be difficult to carry on your body. Moving on from there, we have two options from Dark Angel Medical. I think I said that correctly. I actually really like this guy. So this is just a this is just a zipper pouch with some low drag material that's super slick so you can pull it out of your front pocket. I think that's actually what it's designed for, to go in the front pocket. But this is going to be like the same contents of the majority of these pouches. You're gonna have quick clot, vented chest seals, mini compression bandage, and gloves. So like I said, I don't really like vacuum sealed packaging to be on your body at all times because eventually this packaging will fail and it'll get all expanded and whatnot. But they have this down super tight and it does still go into a pouch. And I actually really, really like this type of EDC pouch. The next one they have, I don't know what this one's called. It's from the same company, but it's actually basically the same contents. They're changed slightly differently, but the main idea here is you have a different form factor. So instead of smaller and thicker, it's a little bit wider and skinnier. And then this guy, I would assume, is designed to go in a back pocket, but you would need like cowboy jeans or something to fit this into a back pocket because this guy's a little large. This guy right here is pretty cool. This is from Filster. Now this is discontinued. I actually had to order this off Etsy to find one, but this comes in the package, like the Filster holster packaging, already pre-assembled. So you just open the package and you have your med kit ready to go. Actually, I haven't gone through the contents of this one yet, but I do believe this is pretty simple. So we have compressed gauze here. We have our quick clot again, a flat bandage, and then there's gloves in here. So this again is a pretty simple kit. This is definitely intended just for basic trauma. There's no airway or respiratory interventions here. And that's going to be, as you guys have noticed, the trend on some of these pouches so far. Now the next four pouches we're going to talk about are going to look very, very similar, and that is because this is probably the most ideal way to carry medical equipment on your body, in my opinion. And I think other companies think the same way because we're seeing a lot of the same ideas from a few different companies. Now the contents for these pouches will vary slightly, but overall the idea is going to be basically the same. For example, this Blue Force Gear pouch actually doesn't have a specific fill kit for it. It's actually not even advertised as an EDC medical pouch. They actually have a sleeve for this that you can wear on your belt and stuff. But you guys see the thing. This is our EDC medical kit, and this guy, it's basically the same thing. Really the only difference here is you have a tab to pull on and actually put our fill kit in here. So we have a 3-inch elastic wrap, the quick clot small gauze, and then some chest seals and a pair of gloves. So again, addressing as many different types of injuries as possible in one small kit. And with our exact fill kit, it fills this pouch out quite nicely. I actually really, really like this pouch. It's really nice, and I really like the colorway of this. The North American Rescue pouch is going to look very similar. As you can see, this one's just a little bit larger, and the contents are basically the same. So this one is sized specifically for hyphen chest seal, so the pouch is gonna be a little bit wider, a little bit longer. A 4-inch ace bandage, and then the gauze and gloves just fit in the elastic on top of the hyphen chest seal. So again, same idea, it's just this pouch a little bit bigger for a little bit larger of equipment. Now we have the Creed pouch. This is not the exact fill kit for this pouch. It's pretty close. But what we got going on in here is this pouch does come with the SWAT T tourniquet if you get the fill kit for it. It comes with the quick clot gauze, and then it will come with a boo-boo kit and some gloves. But what I have in here right now is a 4-inch elastic bandage. This is a pouch that I've carried for a number of years, about 6 years to be exact. And I really like this pouch because there's some things about it that could definitely be improved upon. For example, here's the MOLLE idea again. I just really don't see the point of having MOLLE on a pouch like this. It really just drives up cost. Now, another thing that you guys may have noticed before I empty the pouch is there's a bunch of plastic hanging out around the corners. And that over time, if your plastic is exposed, that's gonna wear through the packaging, and then these will no longer be vacuum sealed. They'll possibly no longer be sterile, especially if you're sweating in the pouch, et cetera, et cetera. So there's definitely some room for improvement here. And again, this pouch is not sized or designed to be, to address as many medical interventions as like the NAR or some of these other ones. It's just some of that basic trauma in a boo-boo kit. The last medical pouch we're going to talk about is the T.Rex Arms Med1. So I did actually design this pouch, and I got a lot of the design ideas and cues from various different pouches on the table. So you're going to see a lot of similarities. Now, before we move on, there's only so many different medical contents out there, especially when it comes to compact size content. So when you size a pouch specifically for them, they're going to look similar. All right. So what we have going on here is we have the 3-inch elastic wrap bandage, just like a couple of these other pouches. This doesn't come with our fill kit, but this is a boo-boo kit that I just added in there. We have gloves, and the gloves just sit into the crease of the pouch. So when you open the pouch, these come out right away. And then we have our quick clot and our chest seals in here. So these are all compact items, and this pouch is designed specifically around these items. And I don't think there's actually another pouch on the table that actually does that. So we did size this, again, specifically for these very specific contents. So if you do stuff other contents in here, the pouch will work just fine, but you're gonna get your best experience out of this pouch if you use our specific fill kit. Now, another thing that we wanted to address with this pouch is how compact it is comparatively to other pouches. So when I get all the contents in here and I wrap this guy up, what you're gonna notice is that this pouch is very, very compact. So I do think this pouch is the smallest option out there. So even we have the Blue Force gear, which I like quite a bit, you're gonna notice that ours is still a little bit smaller, and I think this is the second smallest on the table. The Dark Angel Medical is a pretty good one, but as you can see, still quite a bit larger. Our pouch, I think, is just the most compact, and that's just because it's, again, sized specifically for these contents. Now, the other thing we wanted to address, besides form factor, is protecting the contents as best as possible. So, like I said, I was carrying the Live the Creed for quite a while, but the contents kept getting basically ruined from how exposed they were. So we wanted to be able to wrap this pouch around the contents as best as possible and have the elastic on the inside as big as possible to cover them up as much as possible. So as you can see, I just stuffed this in here pretty quickly. You could obviously do this probably a little bit better if you took more time, but almost all of the plastic is completely covered up. And that was a really big driving factor of the design idea with this, was to protect the contents as much as possible. Last thing on here that's gonna be a little bit different from other pouches is this is a different type of Velcro that's a little bit more low profile. So this Velcro isn't the strongest out there. The standard Velcro, like on the Blue Force gear, is gonna be stronger, but this is not a pouch you should be opening up and closing super often. So what we got here is, again, you can see how much tighter the Velcro is comparatively to the Blue Force gear if you look closely. So all that to say is this is my favorite medical pouch because of how compact it is, how well we're able to protect the contents, et cetera, et cetera. We already briefly talked about the medical stuff that I keep in my truck. Is just basically additional bandages, SAM splints and stuff like that to basically treat a car accident. And that's kind of what I'm most worried about. Now I do want to talk about the stuff that I carry on my body and in my backpack real quick. So we already talked about the Med1. I keep this in my back pocket. I carry my sidecar here. I have a tourniquet on there. This goes with me everywhere I go. And then in my backpack, I have a expanded ITRK kit. I have a very old needle D. I have some trauma shears, and then I have an extensive boo-boo kit with some tape and extra gloves in there. So the idea here is, with the stuff I have on my body, supplemented by what's in my backpack, I have almost a complete Med1, and in some areas I have more than what's in a Med1. The topic of everyday carry is a fun topic to talk about, you know, whether it's the gun you carry, the pocket knife you carry, your flashlight, the medical equipment that you carry with you every day. It is a fun topic to talk about, but what is more important than talking about the gear is actually being trained to be able to use this gear. So you can carry all the medical equipment in the world, But if you don't know how to use it, it's not going to mean anything. So we just want you to carry medical equipment with you every day, because this is the stuff that you are more likely going to have to use on someone than anything else, including your gun. There's nothing more frustrating than preventable loss of life. So make sure you have the equipment with you. Most importantly, get medical training, get professional medical training, go out to a course. Maybe you even have a buddy that was in the military, though it's a paramedic, a nurse, whatever the case may be. Get some knowledge from those people, learn how to use the equipment, and carry it with you. All of these pouches on the table are extremely simple. They're probably actually the simplest designs when it comes to nylon in the industry, and they can all be replaced with a Ziploc bag and a rubber band. The tech pack for our pouch is actually open source on GitHub, so if you don't want to buy our pouch, but you want to put your stuff in a pouch, you can go to GitHub and get the tech pack for the specific pouch, and you can make it yourself. So guys, just to round everything up, get training on medical equipment and actually carry it. So until next time guys, Brandon at T.Rex.